Welcome to another episode of the Bhandwagon Podcast, and one of the very first of 2023. And my guest today is a long-time friend. I would class him as. We've seen each other in many different guises, mainly around either football or music, but always a very nice person, a gentleman. And I will say an unsung hero, which I'm going to question him about during this podcast. But without further ado, welcome to Jeeti.
Hi, Raj, how you doing, man?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, mate. So I'm gonna just start off. Where you been?
I'm still here. Just been, it is life takes over. So different things, different avenues, different ventures, all over everywhere. Innit?
Is it fair to say that you're probably Bhangra's one of the most quietest people within the scene?
Yeah, I like just behind the scenes, do my business, and that's it, innit?
Float across.
Yeah, try to stay out of the drama. Do what I gotta do. Come on, put a turk on, and just switch off, mate. Best way.
Is that what you're concentrating more on, kind of like out of kind of studio kind of work? What you're doing?
It is. Well, it's been where are we now? It's 2023 now, isn't it? Yeah. So I've been. When did I start? First one came out 2003. Bloody hell, it's a long time, yeah. It's over 20 years, basically.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was trying to say. That when I was going through your discography and I was going through Off the Hook, were and then your singles and stuff. It's very hard, and I find this when I'm interviewing quite a lot of artists to kind of get an accurate record of their releases and dates and stuff. It's kind of normally a bit of a botch job. You can see where people have put things in, and those dates ain't correct. So I always kind of reflect it back to yourselves, really, in terms of what are the dates and the kind of like the best kind of chronological order.
I think for me, I think it's about 2000. First was about 2003, 2004, but I was building up to that. I think I just left uni then. Big Ash Wolves uni back in the day.
Well, someone's got to go there, innit?
Yeah. So then I thought came out after that. So that was the first project I did. But since then, I've been involved probably in about over 2,000 songs easily in some shape or form.
Hold on. So you've got involvement, whether musically, produce, master, studio, whatever, in about 2,000 songs.
At least. There's about 1,500 on my hard drive sitting over there. So there's probably another hard drive lying about somewhere back in the day, which I don't even know. Probably forgotten.
And how many of those tracks have been unreleased?
There's probably still about, I'd say, about 150 that are sitting there. For
like fully done, fully completed.
Fully done. I don't own the rights to them, or I've helped somebody or whatever, but for whatever reason. It happens sometimes, projects don't see the light of day.
And so, out of those 150 songs, what kind of artists are involved?
You've got a mix of everything. Got some new guys, established, some unknown.
Can I get some names?
Just everything from India, from here to Canada to Australia.
Even like current artists and stuff.
Current artists, probably not. This is I'm going a bit earlier back in there because I've been a bit quiet the past couple of years. I haven't been involved that much as I used to be. So that's.
Do you reckon those? I've said it quite. It's a very common theme about the unreleased kind of projects, which I've got a very strong passion about in terms of getting them out to see the light of day, because they'll be lost forever.
And they're lost. I mean, myself, I've got some really good songs sitting there, but can't do anything with them because I've done them for somebody else, and for whatever reason they own the rights and they just don't release it. It's a shame because there's some good products there. If they were released when they were supposed to be released, they would have been quite big as well. But it is what it is. Just have to crack on in it.
So is that like including? And we kind of talk about it now, actually, like ghost production and stuff and that you've done for other people.
You know what? This word always makes me laugh. Ghost production.
Go on then. Have I got it wrong?
Well, I've been involved for 20 years. I've had my own studio. I have loads of people coming in and out. So some people I've always helped. Used to book into the studio, just wanted to hire, say, get Tubbsy or someone just to do percussion. Others, they want to come record their vocals. Some might help with the productions. There's always everything. And the funny thing is, people say to me, "Oh, Cam Frantic produces all your music. He goes produce your music." But then same people are saying to me, "You guys produce that guy's song." I'm like, "What are you guys on about?" It's like it's all like Chinese Whispers was it is what it is. But I've helped everyone, basically, put it that way.
So the artists themselves would know like what you've done, and it's not necessarily for.
I mean, it's not a secret. I mean, if you hear my music, I've always got my signature sound. You know what songs have got my kind of stamp on it. But anything coming out of my studio is going to sound like my studio. Anything coming out of Planet or Frantics or Sookies, it's going to sound like their sound because it's the way you do your stuff, isn't it? So, but there are some stuff where I've helped a lot of people. Some stuff I've just had little input here and there.
Okay,
is that politically correct?
Yeah, no. I think it's fair to say. I think there's kind of different levels of kind of ghost production in terms of like a tier, isn't it?
Yeah, some people come with a clear idea of what they want for their song. They can't play keys, they can't play percussion. I want it to sound like this, so you help them do it. You're just laying their ideas down on how they want the track to sound. Other people used to come and just give you a vocal and just say, "Can you do what you can do? Make us a project." Simple as that. Black and white.
Do you know those people who come in just with the ideas, can't play keys, can't do all that? Yeah. In your kind of, I don't know whether this might be a bit too personal. In your kind of in your head, do you still class those people as artists? Yeah, because I could go to a painter, for example, and I'll say, "This is what I can see. Can you paint me this picture?" And then
of course I do. Like all my own songs, I can't play percussion, so whether it be Sunil, Tubbsy, or Lucken, I'll get them in my tracks. But I tell them, "Look, I want the beat like this here. I want it to sound like that. I want try that fill there, try that there." But they're a part of my sound, if that makes sense. So I can't play those bits, but I can tell them how I want it to sound. And it's up to me to do what I need to do afterwards to make it sound the way I want it to. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Get the raw, like vibe off them, and just tune it to the way I want it to sound.
So I want to kind of
even mixing and mastering. Mixing and mastering it's a proper minefield. Such a complicated thing. There's no right or wrong. It's what sounds good to your ears. So what sounds nice to me in my ears, another mix engineer said that sounds off. That don't sound right, but to me it sounds. Do you get what I mean? It's your own take.
Are you one of the rare kind of producers who mix and masters his own stuff?
I think there was a few of us to begin with. Now you see everyone's a mix master engineer, but some of the stuff sounds horrible. Twice all distorted. But do you know, is this the way things are now? Everything's like this now. Tracks are done in 2-3 days. Quick, get it out, and they're gone. Next one. It's more about quantity now. If you know, you know what it's like that generally. Like we got to the cinema now. How many films are there? It's just like gone.
Yeah.
Everything's there on demand. There's no longevity in anything anymore.
It's all disposable, isn't it?
Yeah, everything's disposable.
So what was a young Jeeti like then?
It's pretty much the same as I am now. I just keep myself to myself. I've always had my core group of friends and champion. The people want to champion you from day one, so that hasn't changed. And then because obviously in this industry you meet a lot of people that have got bad intentions but are very sweet to talk and whatnot. So I've always just stuck to what I wanted to do. And look, I know I'm good enough. When I started, I'm going to make mistakes on the way, but I can do what I need to do. And you know what? I got there, I ran the studio for a good 10, 12 years. Was there 24 hours a day, near enough. Had some good times, bad times. It was a good run.
So when you were your musical journey then, so how did you get involved, get into it? Because you come across, when I was, you're very kind of humble. You're always very kind of shy, reserved when I've met you in that way. But to then go into music where you're getting pushed at the forefront is almost like a complete kind of opposite.
I used to hate it. If you notice, I'm very hardly in any of the videos, and they used to kick and scream and make me go. I used to hate all that stuff. I just wanted to make the song, and that's it. Put it out and just get back in the studio and carry on doing what I'm doing. Don't want to know anything else. But you can't. Those are that side of stuff. I don't like it. Well,
so the kind of marketing side of stuff.
Do all the videos and stuff. I've never really been into that. Not one of these guys that you see. They go down the road just like the video, just to get the dud and stuff. You know what I mean? They want to see the complete opposite, man. If today I drive my van, I got my work clothes on, I'm happy, man. I'm happy. This is also right.
Yeah, well, I've always just seen you in a Villa top, really, at football. Harry Mitchell's was the kind of the first place.
I was going to wear it for you today, actually. It's the old retro yellow one, but I thought, you know what, better not, innit?
No, it's all right. Listen, man, I've had Punjabi villains on here, so like, to be fair, they do a great job as well. So I always kind of champion, even though I don't support the team. So how did you get into music then?
Same, just from school. I've always had a passion for it. So we had a band at school back in the day. What was it called? It was called Beats of Punjab. There was about 8 of us, so it all started from there.
Did you get like? How old are you at that stage?
Year 9, year 8, year 9, right about then. And we had the T-shirts made. We all had our names on the back. Proper, the school concerts. And we sort of started.
What were you doing? Were you did? Well,
I was playing keyboards and tumbi. That was it. That's what I was playing. Yeah. So it just kind of progressed from there. But
who was the singer?
The singer was, what was his name? Sidhu. He was one of the little school lads in it. So we would just all get together in it. But it was a bit of fun back then, wasn't it? And the school I went to back then, Hampstead Hall, was like, it was the Bhangra school, back in the day.
So you went Hampstead Hall?
Yeah, Hampstead Hall. Yeah, like every other Bhangra artist. Like I said, back then it was.
What if you go through kind of like Handsworth? So for everyone kind of listening, Hampstead Hall is based in like Handsworth Wood.
Yeah.
Is it technically Handsworth? I think it is. Yeah. And it was the kind of the next logical step for anyone who was going in primary school in the Handsworth area to go into that. It was a main Apna Desi kind of school.
It was good times, man. So it all started from there, really. Then once I left there, I've just always had an interest in it. But don't forget, back then it was a lot harder to do than now because you didn't have like laptops and things like this.
What year was this, Jeeti? I need to work out just for my time frame because then I can adjust my questioning.
When I went to Hampstead Hall?
Yeah.
I started in 93. I left was in 98. 99.
So we're roughly the same age, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Like just touch 40 or gone past
yeah.
it.
You can say it. You can say it. Yeah, just 10, 40.
So what primary school did you go? No.
Cherry Orchard.
Cherry.
Yeah.
So we would have knocked about with the same lads who went from like Rookery.
Yeah, probably.
So you went for keys. You were playing keys. You got into like the Bhangra band and then like, how soon after that was it like?
Well,
you carried on the pace.
Yeah. So when I left there, I saw I was interested in it, but it was more the production side. But like I said, back then it was really hard to. You couldn't just get a laptop and get started. You needed physical gear because obviously that's how you used to make music back then. So, save up, do your paper round, do everything, buy a little keyboard, buy a little sound card, buy a PC, get the software, slowly, just build it up. And I just started putting things together there. Sounded awful, whatever we used to do. All I think, that's how you learn. And then I think when I was about 18, 17, I got a chance to go to a guy called Pete Ware, proper unsung hero of the Bhangra industry, talking back to the 70s and whatnot. So he had his studio in Kidderminster. So I had a chance to go with someone. There's actually my cousin Cam Bamra and Davinder Singh. They were doing something together at the time. So I said, let me just tag along. I want to see how you do this stuff. And second I got to his studio, I was hooked. I saw his gear, everything. I was like, Pete.
He gets mentioned by nearly every interview, and that Kidderminster studio has been a running
thing. Awesome. And I just asked him, well, look, can I come? I'll make you tea. I'll do whatever. I'll sit here for 8 hours. Can you just show me bits and bobs as I go? He's like, no problem, come. So every so like hour or so, he said, come do this. This is how you do this. He said this. And then learned so much of him. Owe him a lot. Taught me a lot about engineering, just general production and how to put media stuff together, sequences, how to do this, do that, teach the software, Cubase, this is what you do. And just watching him work, and he's here for things. I learned a lot of him. So
do you think a lot of producers can hide under like engineers, getting the engineers to do the work?
I wouldn't say hide. They help. I mean, that's what they're there for. They're an engineer. They're there to engineer sound as well. But if there's a difference, like I says, if someone comes in, one thing what the studio had throughout the whole thing, 10, 12 years, whether you're a singer, you could be the biggest singer in the world, or someone started out. If you had attitude, there's the door. Don't care who you are. I'd never used to let anybody who had like all their God's gift and ego or nothing, because that's not how, it's not how we are. That's not how we work. It's not how I used to work. But there's the door. So if
what do you mean? Like you'd already have like an artist coming in with a.
Yeah, used to get some singers who used to come in like think they're God's gift, wear their shades inside, it's like dark and this, that, that kind of. I never used to allow it. I was like, off you go. There's a door. And I've turned some big singers away like that sometimes. So I just don't like it. It's just me who I am in it.
And that was just because. So like, was that like?
Because then it's just because you're thinking you're bigger than what you are, and you're in the studio, you're making a song. Relax, do your vocals, enjoy yourself. There's no need to give it 10. It's supposed to be a nice, chilled environment. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyone you ask when we used to come to the studio, it was a very chilled out environment. So we used to have peanut jar there, pool table there, jar there, just do what you want.
And then how did you did they ever come back, or was it just like
that? They come and apologize afterwards and then do what they need to do in it. Obviously, it's not me being like arsey with them. It's just I never even now I don't like that kind of thing with egos and attitudes. If you want to meet and just chill, have some food, relax, fine. You want to keep being like that, you know what? The big one, I don't like that. Yeah. So if someone would come and they wanted to track then and they'd come with that attitude, I wouldn't do it. It's like,
and those ethics, that kind of atmosphere is crucial in any kind of development.
It's got to be, if you're doing something creative, you got to be relaxed and not tense and just chill out in the studio. Everyone's got their own methods of relaxing in the studio. Mine just used to be just chill, come do what you want, make your tea, relax, spend all day here if you want, but you got to vibe in it. Just have a joke in it, and that's always when the best stuff comes out. Even when you're making music, if you're stressed and you're trying to force a song, it never works. The best songs always happen when you just kind of not give a crap about it, but you just kind of okay, let's see how it goes. Tension free, you know what I mean? That's when the best work always happens as well.
So like going back to where you've met Pete from that side, then how did that journey kind of progress forward?
Well, from then, obviously, like I said, he taught me a lot, learned a lot. So from then I started to get my own gear together, set a little set up in my loft, and started to really put stuff together. And then back then there wasn't much singers around. There used to be your Sufries, your Jazzies. We were all big timers, and back then there was no other singers floating about. Then, if that makes sense, you had the big stars, and that was it. So it's very hard to break into this industry with help from people because nobody knew you were nobody wanted to know in it. So
they're not very helpful at that time.
Yeah, nobody was in it. It is what it was, isn't it? Everyone was a superstar. They didn't want to know. So slowly, I just started making my own music, making compositions and making music around that. And then slowly got introduced to a few people. Then Cam, Bamra did some stuff with him to start with, and then it kind of grew from there. Then I just thought, you know what, I've got a little team together now. Let's have a go at making an album. And then I made it, and then off the hook that was. And
so how did you like, because making an album isn't a cheap thing as well, at the same thing.
No, it was, well, luckily we had a couple of guys we just pulled together and done it. Don't forget, back then you had to make cassettes, CDs, posters, flyers. It was all, and I didn't know back then. I was only 21 at the time. I was naive, but I thought, okay, I've got some posters. I can go and stick them up on Soho Road. No, you can't. I was like, you're gonna get run down. I go, me, there's a guy who runs a poster racket. If you don't go to him, they'll come and smash your windows. I was like, really?
Serious? Did you?
Yeah. So if I tried to go put those posters on Soho Road, you would have come to my house. I never knew any of that. These things you got along. There was a poster.
So did you actually get the call off him?
No. I didn't do this. Someone told me, this is the number. Call him. He'll do it for you. You have to go to him. I was like, okay. Little things like that you wouldn't have known in it. So, so you learn. There's always it's been quite a journey where you learn a lot of things along the way you would never have thought of, innit?
Because I always just look at the circus posters on like
any kind of poster. There was one guy who had the whole racket. Yeah. Apparently, mad in it.
Fair play to him. The Posterman.
Yeah, so we did that. I put that album together, and then Raj Jassal, legendary Raj Jassal. I went to his house and said, "Uncle, look, starting out, I need a few songs." So he played me what he had. He gave me a couple of songs, and then I had a couple of relatives who wrote one.
So when you're meeting a legend like him, and like there's no words that can be shared about the late great Raj Jassal, like because of the impact that he done, especially with UK Punjabi music.
He was a UK Punjabi.
Yeah, which is fair.
90%, whether it's his Tumbi, whether it was his lyrics or just his logo, it was him. He was everywhere on every song.
You know, when you're gonna go and meet somebody like that, what's your feeling like as a because I if I'm in those shoes, I'll be absolutely bricking it. But like
I was a little bit, but for some reason to this day I don't know why, he really liked me. So even for the next 10-15 years until he passed away, he's always been really good to me. Like, and he didn't even, When I tell people this story, their eyes open. When I went to get the first song off him, I said, "Uncle, this is what I want to do. Please, I love you. I want the song off you." He gave me the song for free. And when I tell people that, they go, "He never gives anything for. He never gave anything for free. He always took payment." I go, "Half the payment. He gave me the song for free." He goes, "But Laja, off he goes." Like, okay, well, I just got a free song off Uncle Dave, Raj, and that was it. And then he played on all the songs as well on the album. All the thumbies, everything was his. And that's it. We had a long working relationship. Even though when I closed the studio, I put it on Facebook as well.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I had a final, he wrote quite a nice message on there, which I obviously took a photo of before I left that unit and stuff. It was just quite nice. Yeah, so I had a really good working relationship with him, and we worked obviously in the future after that as well.
So so like when you put in a journey of like an album, I say journey because like for some people it can be just a mixture of like 10 or 8 to 10 random songs just mashed together. Was there any reasoning or of like a thematic kind of flow through it, and why the title of your album?
Well, for me it was just I wanted to make a different kind of song like on each stage of the album. So it was just finding. Back then, I used to really focus on making compositions. So if I had a composition, I'd make the composition first and get a song written to that. Or if I had a hook line, I'd work that way around and just see if it worked. If that makes sense. So I had about 20, 25 compositions and narrowed it down to those 10. And I thought this will work as an album. And don't forget, it was the first time I was doing it as well. So I made mistakes along the way as well. As you do, you learn as you go along.
So who was your label at the time?
We did it ourselves. It was me and my cousin Cam and another guy called Kamal. So we just got together and we done it. And that was another issue as well, because at the time there was only 2-3 big labels. There was always, say, Movie Box, High Tech, and
Envy?
I think a touch of ANV as well. So it was very hard to do it independently back then as well, because obviously these were the big guys and they didn't want nobody coming in or whatnot. So, but we got there. We got there in the end. You learn as you go.
And were you building up your studio at the same time as when this started?
Yeah. So it was at home. I started at my mum and dad's initially. And then a couple of years after then I started learning the engineering properly, and I used to open the studio, help people come in and whatnot. We opened one with Serious Records. That's when we started the Nibalier albums and the Getting Serious. That was with another guy, and that's where we made all like Chalakia, Miramai Tupatia. That's the next stage of where we kind of.
What was the reaction to the album when you first came out?
It was really, really good. Surprised me, to be fair. I mean, back then I remember to this day, we did 30,000 CDs and 50,000 cassettes. Yeah, back then. That was considered really good for a newcomer back then. Yeah.
And that like you sold that amount, yeah?
Sold that, physical copies, yeah. Believe it or not, yeah. I think I've still got about 100 cassettes left somewhere and about 5 CDs like knocking about somewhere.
You can stick them up on eBay. There's a lot of people make a lot of money on them now.
Yeah, so that was it. It done really well. The response was really good. Then obviously names started to get out a bit. Then female singers it makes it a bit easier then when you're trying to like make more contacts or like work with people. No, you did that song. Okay, then it kind of just opens a few more doors.
And was that the reason why you did the 10 different kind of songs, because they got a different style and it might attract more singers to come in to work with?
Yeah, it was just I wanted to make different songs, just experiment a bit as well. And I listen back to some of it now. I think, what was I doing there? Why did I try that? But okay, that would work. It's about experimentation, isn't it? Because don't forget, there was not hardly any internet or anything back then, so the concept was on the album, if that makes sense. You couldn't hear
the album name was interesting. I just wanted to know what was you thinking around it.
I can't remember. I think we just put loads of names into a hat, and just picked one out. Random. I think it was a random. There was no actual meaning to it. We picked it up from somewhere. And we just let's go with that, because it was long, innit?
Tremendous.
Honest. Picked it out of that, didn't it? It didn't have any meaning like that, I said. But that album has the whole journey of the album kind of started my journey for the next 20 years, if that makes sense. And it was.
So how many singers did you have on the original concept of the album?
We had about eight. Yeah. So, because like I said, it was hard getting vocals and stuff then. And when you getting introduced to people in the industry, some of just there just to like try and rip you off, make a quick buck. Others genuinely wanted to help. So it's all a learning curve, innit? You need to go through the bad times to, see the good as well. So it was a long journey, but it worked out well. And that was we did that was when Rakesh first come over. He sang the Sajjana remix on that, and That's the first one I first met Lehmber as well. And we did his first video, Mella. And Cam, obviously, we did I Just Want You with that. Even that, when I made I Just Want You, I just started. I don't know if this guy in Wolverhampton called Bill Cooner, Bill Media. So
yeah.
Him and Good Mile had a studio in Wolverhampton. They just set one up then. So I started to engineer there, like in the evenings and stuff. So, and then that's where I first met Tubbsy as well. So Tubbsy played on that. That was the first percussion I recorded on that song. And again, that's the first time I met him. He played on the track. And even he said, look, just, I don't want to payment. Sounds good. Crack on. Wish you the best. I was like, okay. So I got there. So
the gist of it is that you get quite a lot of stuff done for free then.
To begin with, trust me, it was just, that's why on your journey, remember who helped you along the way. That's what I mean. So
like when I think of you, when I look back on your career and your catalog, like your relationship with Lehmber is one of the key things that kind of comes out of it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get into that in a second, depending on what you want. But like, how did you guys first meet?
Well, it was that there was I had the Mella vocal and I got it from someone else. It was another record label back at the time. It was called Crystal Records. So they gave the vocal. So I'd made the song and he'd come in the UK and he'd heard it. And through like a third party, he said, look, I want to meet the guy who made this. So we met and we kind of got on there and then. So I said, look, we can try. We can make a video for it. And that's when we made the first video. And it just kind of grew from there then. And then these other guys set up a label a couple of years later, Serious Records. So he'd signed to them. So I'd kind of run that label for the next 4 or 5 years. I had full control of everything then. So like Getting Serious, Nibali album, Chilakia, the Bolnia, Serious Duets. So I kind of handled all that. And that's where it just kind of grew from there then.
And in that relationship then was like, because we know like his relationship with Zeus, he had some bangers there. And he sang for everyone virtually. Yeah. But like, with yourself and that, there was always that kind of extra kind of chemistry within it. Like, was the relationship reciprocal, because it was almost like you needed kind of each other for some of the tracks?
Yeah, of course, it kind of worked. It would be just because, don't forget back then, you're 20, 21, 22, got no mortgage, you're not married, got no kids, so you're free. You're free to like sit in the studio till 3, 4 in the morning. Your kind of brain is totally focused on that. So it was always ticking. Oh, should we do this? Try that. Try this. Try that. Does that work? And it just kind of worked. So we had quite a good relationship with him back there, and it kind of grew. And to be fair, having that relationship's kind of helped my career, and the songs that I've done for him have helped him as well. As long as the guys, it's hand in hand. I always said the singers always think they're the star, but it's a team. It's your percussionist, it's your writer, it's the producer. One don't work without the other. So that's always key. Always key.
And how do you kind of manage expectations of when you know? I'm just saying with all artists that you've worked with as well, because you know if you go through your history, you've worked with some of the biggest artists around. Like, how do you kind of manage their expectations and egos as well at the same time? I mean, you gave a little bit of hint about your attitude out of the studio, but where like that was when you first when you first started that. But like now, like at that time, your reputation's growing, your catalog of the kind of work, your artist catalog is growing as well. How did you manage that?
Well, for me, it was just like, look, this is what I want to do with your vocal. Here's the composition. Just send me a guide and go away. Don't bother me for that 3, 4 weeks. Just let me get on with it. If you don't like what I've done, fair enough, scrap it, throw in the bin. No hard feelings. But if you like what I've done, then we can take it from there. And 9 times out of 10, they'd always love it. I just wanted to go away, lock myself away. No, that in your head, innit? Just let me do what I got to do. Of course, everyone has input, but let me do the core of what I want to do first, and come and add your input afterwards. And yeah, we work together. Okay, that don't sound right. We can add that. We can change that. Little things, and just build the track together. Like I said, because one thing I always used to do, I always used to be in touch with the writers that had the songs written, because I think for me it was always important. The songwriter should also, have a say or have a listen to how his interpretation of his song is coming out as well. A lot of people don't do that because other than he's wrote the song, he's got in his head how it should sound. So you have to take influence off everyone as well to make that project complete. If that makes sense.
So just to kind of re-emphasize that. So one of the formulas that you used to for a song was having the writer from the organic birth of the song to the end, and having all parties involved in that time. Yeah.
Once I made my initial like a sketch of the song. Then I'd play him the rough cut and say, "What do you think of this? What do you think of this? If you don't like it, why don't you like it? You like it? Okay." When you get everyone's input, then I can build the final song after that. That's always the way I used to work, and it worked well for me. Like nowadays, people want beats and they want to write songs on the beats. I find it hard to do that because I've always made the composition first and built my music around the composition. And then nowadays, it's more like it's all beat oriented. I struggle to do it that way. So in my head, I always have to have a composition first. I can always build better music when I've got a composition to work to.
While it's in my head, and it's been a bit of a common theme that's come out, especially the past few podcasts that I've done, the subject around melodies has come up pretty often, where traditionally old kind of Bhangra, UK Bhangra, would have longer melody pieces within a song, and now that's being kind of shrunk down for kind of dance floor hits and whatever. Where do you stand on that? Is that a component that you miss, or do you think it's kind of
but you got to move with the times. It's the times. You can't expect songs out of the 60s to now, like it is what you got to move with the times, and some people can't. That's the thing, and they get stuck in that time zone, which is fine. I love my 90s Bhangra music. I love my 2000s Bhangra music. To me, that's the best era. I'm not fond of a lot of stuff that comes out today, but it is what it is. You got to move with it, otherwise. And songs are getting shorter now. Songs are about 2 minutes long now.
Yeah, I can't stand that, man.
There's a reason behind it, though.
What is it? Just because of the algorithm on YouTube and stuff?
Yeah, YouTube and Spotify. So it's all to do with algorithms and getting your song higher up the ladder. So
so the algorithm. So the shorter the algorithm, the shorter the song,
you get more percentage. Yeah. So say if your song is 2 minutes long, on average, if someone plays it for over a minute, they've played 50% of your song. Whereas 4 minutes long, and they listen to a minute of it, they've only played 30%. So it pushes it up.
So the more percentage of a song or a track that that's listened to, the higher it goes up in your chart, and money wise.
And I just think generally people just don't want to listen to long songs anymore because people's attention span is not there like it used to be. It's just anything you watch Netflix, how often do you flick over before you've actually completed watching something? Do you get what I mean? It's just general life.
I do that on YouTube. I haven't got the ad-free one or anything. I got the ads in there, and sometimes even when I've put it on, and people have said it about even with the podcast, like they're about to put the podcast, the ads come on, and they're like, "Oh, I'll watch it later," and they never come back to it. So like,
it is just the way things are now. But if you don't adapt and move on, then you're going to be.
Yeah, because I've just seen these 1 minute songs on Instagram now, and
that's what it
I
is.
really hope it doesn't go down that road.
I think it's gonna. I think we're already there. But that is the TikTok 60-second TikTok reels. That is where we are at the moment. And if you don't embrace it or do something, be creative with it, then.
But I'll still argue to the point, even with this now, like a long format conversation. There'll always be it might not be from a monetary value. They could release two versions of the song. It's not gonna kill them. So the content's already been there, isn't it?
But this is the thing that people don't want to spend time on the songs now. They want to start a song. This is the difference. Half the reason. Say if I get a phone call from India from a singer now, they say "Paji gana karna." Okay, theek hai. Kal tak ho ju. I'm like, no. And they want it that quick because in India they're just sitting there in the studio ready to do it. I go, it's going to take me a month at least. In between everything else that's going on now. But that's the kind of, they want it then, they want to get it out, get it done, on to the next one.
The fast consumption is started. It's quantity now rather than quality.
It is quantity, but that's the world we live in, isn't it?
So I just want to touch back on kind of the managing relationships. When did it start changing for you, and with the Lehmber story?
No, not really a story too. Really, I mean, we had some good albums. We started the Serious Record stuff, and then that went well. Done the Nibaliye album, that done really, really well. And then his album I put together, Oman and Camera on that as well. Even with that, the Chalakiya song, the composition, I made all the composition, got him to sing it. I was about to make a scratch to it, and I thought to myself, you know what, Cam's going to do a better job on this now. So I phoned him up. I go, Cam, can you do this one? So I made the composition and gave him the vocal, and he smashed it. so I used to do that quite a lot. So if I thought when we put projects together, he's going to do a better job than me on that one. He sang well with that. I'd give it to that guy. There's no like, I need it, or I need the hit, I need the hit like that. Never used to be like that. So it was always consistent, if that makes sense, innit? So we had a good run, even with the Mira. My biggest track, obviously, that still gets played now. It's obviously Mira my do, but there it's still going. About 20 years later, however long it is.
Well, I was just gonna say that because we started the conversation with me just singing it in the background because I was like, obviously, just going through. But like percentage wise, you still got quite a lot of songs that get played even now on the wedding circuit.
It is. I know. If I got royalties for that, I don't think I'd have to work.
Yeah, considering you're involved in how many thousand songs, I'm sure there's elements of the songs that you're listening. You recognize those pieces, or you've done them.
I do, and sometimes I forget, and then I'll hear it back the next time. Oh yeah, that was done then. That was done then. That was like that. But even with that Bullia, it was a good friend of mine, Gurmeet Billy Joe. He wrote it, and I think Lehmber had sung a couple of like scratch verses of it, makes just little dummies of it. And I was hearing them, they were all like, there was about 200 takes of just different little things. And I thought, what the hell's all, I couldn't work out what, because back then we had the CDs and the CD was skipping, I couldn't get the files off. It was like, what is this? It took me ages to get it all done. And then I heard all these different bully. I thought, you know what, I can do something with this. And this wasn't a song. It wasn't a song. This is how fun this. It was just scratch takes they'd done one day. No one thought of anything. So I took the CD. I thought, you know what, I can make something out of this. And they were looking at me like, there's nothing here. This is what, focus on this song. I go, nah. There's something here, trust me. So then I picked out all the bullion that I liked out of it, kind of stitched them all together. And I thought, you know what, there's some slow ones, I can do something here fast, slow. Just started to piece it all together, then added a little beat to it. And I thought, you know what, there's something here now. Found a good beat. I go, can you write 2 more verses? So it kind of finishes off. He wrote them. Then Lehmber came in, he wasn't feeling it. Didn't want to know. He came in to do a different vocal. You can end the question around him and I go, look, I ain't recording nothing else today. Do that or go home. I just told him straight.
As blatant as that.
He was at his peak and I said, look, do it or go home. Trust me. I'll go. Have I made any bad mistakes up to today? He goes, no, just trust me. So he sang it once. I go, no, sing it again. Sing it like you can be bothered to sing it. And he sang it all. And I says, okay, I'll call you in a week, innit? Then he came back a week later and I played it in. And his face just went, Acha. Let me sing it one more time.
When I can really be bothered.
Then the final vocal, then it just came together, and then that just blew up. That had no video to that day. The original one, it's got no video. It just blew up off the CD, and it just went crazy. And I still get people today saying, "Why did you remix it with Pooja?" Oh, because it worked. Second time round, I go, I prefer the first one. I go, but some people prefer the one, whichever one you like.
Yeah, I mean, like that, I was just gonna say because you kind of remixed a few things as well, and you've been kind of brave enough to do that. You know, like Pooja as well. She was massive at the time. You know, it still is. I'm just saying, like in terms of bringing her in and putting her on a song. Like, was that a big risk in your head?
Well, it's some of the label, because obviously the labels were set. It used to be different than with labels. It used to be an India label, the UK rights, and Canada, North America. And like now you release a song worldwide every year, but it used to be separate territories then. So the India label found the UK label and said, look, Pooja's huge here. This song's doing well here as well. Can you do something? And so they put it to me. I go, okay, we can try. So Gurmeet wrote the female parts to it, and she sang it there. Lehmber wasn't aware of any of this, by the way. He didn't know. So the label said, look, just do it, just carry on. You don't need to tell him in it because he's gonna go off on one in it. So put it all together, got it all done, and then they came to the studio one day, and he was just sitting there, and I just pressed play in it. I go, what do you think of this? And remix kicked on it, and he heard his vocal first, stage out, then he heard her voice, and he went a bit like, blank in it first. What's going on in it? I said, look at him, the label owner goes, it's up to him, innit? And then he went away, and then we just sent it off to India, and they loved it over there, and then that was it. They said, let's make a video. Second, they said, let's make a video. He was happy, and then it blew up again, and he was even more happy. So it carried on again. So
and he's one of the most popular TikTok stars in that as well, because it gets played off there as well.
But again, it came out nothing. It wasn't a song. That's the funniest thing about it. It was literally just outtakes lying around. I was just bored. I thought, just mess about with these. And I was just so angry because, like I said back then, it was a CD. The CD kept skipping. I couldn't drag it off to the day, and I had to polish the scratch out and all that stuff.
Oh.
But yeah, just about got the vocals off it. And I thought, okay, right.
I could be wrong. I remember listening to one of your interviews many years ago when you were on Asian Network, where you were recording a vocal off Lehmber, and you lost the song or something,
Yeah,
and you had to try and get it back, and you tried to get him to re-record the song, and he refused.
yeah. Well, I refused. I think it just didn't come out right. They lost.
What was it? Am I making that up, or was that?
But I did. That happened quite. That happened quite a lot back in the day because you know what used to happen. They used to send it from India, the vocals, on a DVD in a package. There's no WhatsApp or anything then. You have to really physically to come, or if someone was coming from India, they'd send it over with them. And they just used to get bashed and boshed about, and then they never used to work when they used to like get here. So usually you have to wait for the singer to come over here when they're in the UK, then try and get them to do it, but never used to work. Never used to work. That used to happen quite a lot, believe it or not. So
oh wow. Okay, so
CDs with vocals on that today I don't even know what's happened because they don't work.
yeah, I think it was more. And this is where I'm going to probably dig a hole even more. I think it was in the case where you recorded it and you lost the hard drive or something. You lost.
Oh yeah, I lost a lot of data once or twice. That happened, and then yeah, some singers refused to do it again because they want payment again, which is. But what they never used to realize, you're damaging yourself. And then if a product comes out and it's good, it's going to be your. But let's first face it, for song as well, the singer's great. If it doesn't go so good, music marasi, lyrics marasi. So was the way.
You also had a band as well at the same time as well when all this was going on.
We started something. Yeah, we started to set it up. Serious 7. Again, it was just mates messing about. The studio used to be like that. Everyone used to come in while I was working in the day, and just he'd pop in. Can I come? Yeah, I'll just sit there while I'm working, and he just should just try something, see if it works. It worked for a bit. We had a bit laughed, and everyone. Then obviously all the guys at Rambo companies, then they wanted to do the band more seriously. And so obviously they moved on with other bands and stuff like that. But I just wanted to really just stay in the studio. The live things never really appealed to me. I just wanted to solely focus on the studio. So that's what happened. So it was all right, man. Again, it was just fun at the time, innit?
So when did you start making the decision around the studio? When did that start? Because it was a successful studio.
Yeah,
it was very popular. Like as I mentioned before, loads of artists.
Yeah.
When did you start having the thinking that okay, this is not working out?
I had 3, so it was the one I had at home we started first. Then we moved to the Sirius Records, which was in Hockley in Birmingham Tinser. Then from there I moved to Smethwick, which I had that one for about 10 years, and that's the last one that I had. We've done everything there. I'm talking like people were coming to do percussion, every single were coming for vocals, production. Just
I remember seeing footage of that. It's one of the first studios that I saw being uploaded to YouTube. But you used to like your boys, your core groups used to have quite a lot of video footage and upload it as well, didn't they?
I used to let everyone in, just relax and do what you're gonna do. Because a lot of studios then used to be quite close knit. Oh, you can't hear this, you can't hear that. I'm like, just come, you can hear what I'm working on, as long as you don't record it and put it on the net. But you can trust people back then, innit? So like I said, you call people, you can always trust, can't you? So we had that for about a good 10 years, and then after a while, it started to become a bit more like I was having enough of it. Like it was the same thing over again, same pressure, same kind of like mundane.
Where was the pressure coming from?
Just everywhere and everything in it. Then used to have like someone used to come and drop the song on a Monday again, and get on a Wednesday, and you got 101 things to do. And I kind of started to fall out of love with it. Just all aspects of it, the recording, the mixing, the production, and I think it was about 2017 I eventually shut that place. And then my son was born in 2015. When he was born, I thought, I actually want to be at home and watch him grow up. This is my focus now. These singers can take the mickey, can take a back step in it. So, and from then it just kind of, so my setup's at home now. I'm at home. I can do it if I want to work. I can work. So I'm back to now where I was 20 years ago, if that makes sense. Because by then I'd fallen out of love with it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to look at a computer. I didn't want to look at a keyboard.
And how difficult was it then? Because obviously you got financial obligation where.
Well, obviously at that time it was my full-time job for a good 10 years. That was, I'm grateful that my first house was bought with, money from this industry. Music paid for my first house, so I'm blessed in that aspect. But then it just comes a time of evolution, and you got to look at other avenues and see what to do, and then just spread your wings a bit. And I'm not one of these people that are just like, my tailor. You can't be like that in life. You got to adapt and evolve as well. You know what I mean?
Do you see a lot of current artists and that making that mistake?
Look, your life's your life. You know your life better than anybody else. Whatever works for you, works for you. What doesn't. I've never been one to worry about look, I geek and this and the other. Not bothered. I mean, do what you got to do. If it works for you, crack on. And if it doesn't, don't be TK on it.
So it's like the work life family balance, or however you want to call it, that started to kind of play more into it.
Yeah.
What was your peers like? What was your competition around you like?
Everyone's doing their own thing. It's fine. The thing is, I've never looked at about competition with them. Never. One of my idols, Cam Frantic, from day one. I used to bug him when he used to have the studio in on Ladypool Road, and he always used to take time out. Just, I wanted to know, how did you do that? Because he was a big part of the industry, and they've become good friends. And I used to just, not look at these guys as my competition. Like, because I used to give him songs, or I think, can you do this song because you're going to do a better job than me. We used to work together, and I used to learn a lot of him as well. So I never used to look at any competition. It's just focus on what I'm going to do. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I used to listen to everyone's songs. I used to love a lot of the producer songs, singer songs. Still, still do. So,
were you a rarity in the industry at that time? Because I know even from what you're saying now, like that is not the kind of common practice within there. I mean, like in anything, even with this, you've got people who do something similar. You've always got it from, other people have eyes of envy or try to take you down. How did you kind of manage that then?
Again, I just used to leave it at the door, do my bit in the studio, go home, play football.
See, because I would press you even more, but I know you're actually like this, so that is slightly annoying.
Yeah, it is. It is annoying. I'm not the first person to say that, and I just don't bother. It just, what can I do? If people want to. The thing is, I still get out. The ironic thing is, my phone's still ringing out for people to want production done, but I'm saying no. But I just haven't got time. Not in an arrogant way or anything. Just I'm not in that mindset yet because I've got so much other stuff going on. But this year, now I've made time. I'm in that mindset where I want to make music again, but doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to make what's current. I'm just going to do what I want to do. I'm at that stage in life where I want to make what makes me happy in it. That's it. Always block out the noise, man.
So how long have you been away from music then?
You know what? I shut the studio in 2017, 18, but then I set up again at home. I did it for a couple of years. So about past 2 years, I've been just like on and off. But this year, back on it now as well. But you know what? I've been blessed, man. I've got to work with, I'd say, 95% of people that I wanted to. So Shinder Shinda, really big idol of mine. I got to work with him. That was great. Babu Mana did all of his mixing mastering on his album. That was really good.
Did you get to meet him when you were doing all that?
Yeah, I would phone to him all the time. He rang me a couple of weeks ago actually because he wanted something done, but I couldn't do it in time, so he got a bit angry in it.
Oh, did he get vexed?
Like I said, they want it there and then in it, but I can't do it that quick. Lakwinda Wadali, all these guys. These are the guys that I wanted to work with. So I've been pretty much blessed in that aspect, in it. So
who's left that you'd love to work with?
I'll say probably Jazzy. That's the last one on my list, innit? Obviously, Sudur Sikandar Sujit Binder Rakhia was my favorite singer of all time. Just his vocals are a different level for me. Would love to work with those guys, but I think out of the current everyone's still doing it, probably Jazzy. That's the one. But like I said, I've worked with everyone in some capacity where they've just come in to record their own vocal, or someone's brought them in, they've done this, that, the other, or producers done this. The list is endless, man. If you look at my hard drive, you see all these folders, you'll be like, huh? Like, yeah.
What with all the people you worked with?
Yeah, just like in some way, shape, or form, and it's crazy, man. It's been good.
Well, the sub theme of this podcast is just about meeting Jazzy anyway. So it's just this might as well just be dedicated to him. This whole fan page.
But when I got to work with Bubba Man, that was a highlight for me because I remember being at school and listening to his songs. And then he had his concert here, and we were sitting in his hotel room the day after, and he's like, "Do this, do that," and
what to you?
I'd mix and master one of his albums, and then I tweaked it a little bit. And then the first mix that I did to one of the songs, I said to him, it's finished, in it. And I was cacking myself. I was like, because he's a big artist, isn't it? You want to do a good job, in it. And he heard it and just looked at me and went, "Do the rest of it now." Because I like that. Do the rest of it. Here's 8 songs. Bang them out for me. I won't say, no problem.
And he's a hard person to say no to, I guess.
But he was good, mate. I didn't realize how big he was until I actually worked with him, because once I put that mix and master, the amount of messages I was getting, and then you get like you said, the jealousy come as well. Oh, how's he doing that? That really bothered me. Just crack on in it.
So when you look at the industry now, then so we've you've got like the artists that you want to work with.
Yeah.
They're still the same artists that have been around for how long? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, is there anyone of kind of the new gen, if you class the new gen of being there?
I like Gordon Oja. I think he's got a good vocal. Nimna Kera, I like her vocals as well. Yeah, they're two are good. Amirik, I like that kind of stuff as well. There's so many artists now. It's hard to keep track of who's coming out. But like you said, it's about consistency. There's so much content out there now. It's like hard to keep a track of everyone, isn't it?
So who do you listen to then? Like, go on. Sorry, what are you going to say?
For me, it's just like I would like to work with someone, but make the music that I think I can do good with their vocals. That makes sense. I ain't gonna make drill music or gangster music. It's I do the school run every day. I drive a van. Yeah, it's not gonna fit my image. You know what I mean? It's not. It doesn't fit. If you get what I mean, innit? If whatever I do now, it's got to do what I enjoy making, but I can still work with everyone as well.
I think the gangster genre has gone, especially after Sidhu's passing. I think it's dwindling away now.
It is, but AP Dillon, he's taken to another level as well.
He's a lover, man.
Brilliant. But it's good though. Even Sidhu, before he passed away, I wasn't the biggest fan of his music, but what he'd done and how he just explosion got to mainstream Hollywood, and then being a Sardar as well, it's amazing. So it can only be good. Look the reach that these guys have got now. It's brilliant.
Do you think that you kind of work with these guys in the wrong era? Like, are you happy? Like, would you like to have come out now, or would you like to just stuck where you were?
I'm all right where I was, man. Absolute 1993. Start from there. I'm happy.
That's it. That's the one. So when you kind of look back, then what would you class as some of your personal kind of highlights that you think that?
Oh, it was just generally having the studio day to day. When there was no tension, we were making good music, people were coming in and out. It was like, you get to live your dream, basically, and get paid for it. What more do you want in it? And everything was good. That was the best time having the studio, I'd say. That from when After Hook came out to, I'd say about 2015, but that period there was really good.
Because it did die off though. The UK Bhangra scene was struggling at that bit. Did you feel guilty that you were leaving it in not saying that you owned it, but that when it probably needed you at the most to kind of keep some of the stuff coming out that you took?
Again, my heart was in it, so it would sound rubbish rather than that makes sense, innit? Just I wasn't really bothered anymore. Just really, I didn't want to look at the keyboard, packed everything away, just didn't want to know. Don't want mind away, and I sort of come back again now, innit? But it's about for me, I've got to learn again now. Learn how to use, how modern songs are sounding. Because I still get people send me stuff to mix and master, which I'll do here and there. So it's good for me just to learn as well. You can never stop learning. If you're one of these people who think I know it all, then it's no point. You got to adapt and evolve as well.
So being a parent, then, does that make you kind of think about music in a different way now, or like in terms of like how kind of reintroducing that lifestyle back? Is there a bit of caution that you don't fall down that road again?
Not really, because all my songs were just happy party songs. Anyway, there's not really. I never used to do stuff like violence and.
I'm more about the kind of the labor of love. The amount of dedication that you have to do, because you know how many hours that you've had to put in.
But again, it's different now. You don't need the tools are there. I can just literally do everything on my laptop now, sitting in my bedroom. You know what I mean? So it's a lot more flexible than it used to be now. And it's so much easier to release songs and stuff now than it was back then. So it's a lot more easier now. The weird thing is my son's he's 7 now. He's got no interest in this Punjabi music. I play him stuff, I show him the keyboard. He likes listening to like rock music and trance music. I don't know where it's come from. It's totally random. He'd rather listen to like Tiesto and things like that. So he's on his own little flex. So you carry on, mate. You carry on, do what you want to do. When you're ready, there's a keyboard, knock yourself out. It's good, man. It's good.
Yeah, it's hard to get. I struggle with like my daughter. She doesn't listen to any music, to be honest, which is weird. But my son, he just listens to anything I put on. So he's just a fan of that. You know what I mean? And he just starts dancing. So I know he's got that kind of this rhythm in it. But it's hard to pick up the latest songs and stuff. How do you kind of stay ahead of the latest songs? Like, No, I remember Nahal was saying he's got Spotify, has a radar on, and then he just listens to music that way.
Yeah, it's just what other people send me. Like send links on WhatsApp all the time, or I log on Spotify and they just click on the playlists and see what's on there, or radio here and there as well. Really, but again, not as much as I used to be. Like listening to who's come out with that, who's come out with that. But like I said, the songs come and go. And 24 hours, if you're lucky, songs come and gone. It is what it is, isn't it?
Would you go down doing another album again? With the unreleased stuff, like what you could release, would you get it out?
Nah, because there's nothing I can get out. I'd love to get it all out, but it's just too much headache, and it brings back all the drama with certain people. On you got to release. It just don't need any of that headache now. So, the one singer who was a really good friend of mine, Robbie Dougal, he sang Ranjana.
Well, I was going to say that because I keep bigging it because my wife loves that song, even when it first came out. It was
that song.
So whatever happened to him then? Come on.
Well, he was from India, so he came here first, and he went back to India for a bit, but he's back in the UK now. So we met up a couple of weeks ago actually. So this year we're working with him because working with him is like a friend or brother. There's no like it's not a singer producer kind of relationship. It's just he comes around here, he comes with his wife, we just chill, relax, it's fine. You know what I mean? So me and him had a good connection. We had a really good like chemistry on working and stuff. So I'm going to be working mainly with him this year, just because it's just family in it, just nice and chilled.
So yeah, okay, so is that album or just single? Or
we'll see. I think I'm going to make a few covers, make some few songs, and just put them out really, and just see what kind of people.
Cam Bamra, is he coming out with anything?
I don't think so yet. I'll have to ask him after this, isn't it? I think everyone gets a card here and there, but it's hard. I'm saying I'm going to come out with something. Let's see. Ask me 12 months in it.
No, it's just I had DJ Dip said he was going to release a lot of stuff. I had Shin, quite second guessing himself about a lot of it, like doing an acoustic album. I was like, you're like the godfather of acoustic kind of UK Bhangra. Like, why are you asking anyone's opinion? Just do it.
That is it. So like, look, if I release a song, it's going to be some Bhangra music. It's going to be some slow jam, but it's going to be what I like.
Yeah, but that's what I was trying to say. It's just like
I've never followed like a trend. I've always
So I've got the most faith in you because like you've always got it in your thing.
Yeah, my whole thing for my career, I need to make a sound. If someone listens to that song, they're gonna know that's my music straight away.
Like the Sahota sound.
Yeah, so I've always had that in my song. It's the rhythm, the percussion, a couple of sounds, and people have always known that on the track. So why would I want to sound like every other young producer coming out now? To me, it don't make sense. People listen to it, they don't. That's fair enough, but it is what it is. The ironic thing is, people say, "Okay, that music's all no one listens to Bhangra," but when I get my Spotify analytics at the end of the year, my largest listening group are 18 to 24. That accounts for 70% of all my plays. So you tell me, it's weird.
There must be up and coming DJs getting the wedding sets.
It's a weird one. But like I said, I can only do what I can do. I ain't gonna try and be anybody else. Never have done in it. So if people listen to it. If they don't, it's fine.
I mean, you come across, and I've said it before, very very measured in your approach and your kind of life course and what you're doing. Is there any sort of kind of, I think regret is a very strong word. Is there kind of some of the lessons learned, and what would they be?
Well, you know what? Throughout my career, when I've had young kids doing stuff now, I've always tried to give them advice. Do this, do that. They've always asked for. If anybody used to ask me for advice, I always give it a minute. Back then, one regret I had was probably paperwork wasn't really a thing. And that not having stuff signed properly and whatnot hurts you later on in life. But it just always have. But you learn all these things. You learn how to. You can't just be a music producer now. You have to be a businessman. You have to have your paperwork and your royalties, your copyright, everything. You have to have that side of it. That was the only thing really that I kind of took my eye off the ball a bit to begin with. But it's a learning curve, isn't it? So I always make sure.
Did that financially cost you in the future?
It did a little bit, yeah. On some projects, it did. I can be honest, it did, because you have a verbal contract with someone, but you're young then, you're 21, 22, you're just trying to get in. You don't really think about that stuff.
And was it in favour of the singer then, rather than yourself?
Labels and singers and a few other people. It's very complicated back then. It's a lot more straightforward now. A lot easier to do now. But I always say this to young people, so make sure you've got this, make sure you got that. Back then, there was nobody wanted to give you advice when I started. They wanted you to fail. Nobody wanted to let you in the circle. It's different now. So if people ring me all the time asking for advice, yeah, whatever I know, I can tell you. Just apply it to yourself, innit? And it's so easy to release songs now. I don't get why some of these young guys complain it's so hard to get out there. It's easy. You can do everything from your phone. You're not going out so putting flyers on.
They're phoning that guy.
They phone that guy. You can do everything from your phone. It's just about yourself. You got to be consistent, and have that. You got to put the graft in. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, especially they don't have that. A lot of people do. The good artists do, but a lot of people don't have that drive. That energy to keep at it. And nothing's going to work all the time. You're going to. I think you can release 100 songs. One might work. 99 might not, but you got to keep going in it.
Yeah, because it's interesting that to put out content is so easy now. It's just that it's so saturated in like getting your slave to the algorithm. Really,
it's that as well. Everything. It's that thing where people are using the same sample hubs like Splice and things like this, which I've only come to learn of about the past year or two in it. So it's going to sound the same, but like I said, my whole focus when I was going was I need to make my sound like me, not like, oh, he's doing that, let's copy that. Oh, that song's done well, let's try and copy that. Do you know what I mean? I never used to do that, and I think that's the trap a lot of the youngsters fall into at the moment. So very talented kids, because I mix and master for a lot of them that coming from the UK, very talented young producers and stuff, but I think they get involved in the hype of it's got to sound like before thinking about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We're just trying to copy and just get it out. So we can do that. If it's worked for him, it'll work for us. But it never works like that. Never works like that.
So, Jeeti, this is the Bhandwagon, and if you're not familiar with it, this is the opportunity where I give the guests to kind of either get something off their chest, or is there a bandwagon that they want to jump on or off? So this is kind of your space to do that.
You know me, man. I just want Villa to win a trophy. That's all I want. An FA Cup or get into a Europa League spot. That's all I want, man.
Well, technically, you kind of won one with Martinez as the World Cup winner.
Yeah. I'll take that, innit?
So what do you? I mean, you're quite active in the Villa scene as well. I would say, kind of as a virtual supporter match go. No, I'm joking.
That's the only time you'll actually see me angry is when Villa play. You can see my emotions go crazy. Then that's when I get violent.
Yeah, because you're fairly calm even on a pitch, to be fair, which is annoying again. Yeah, I mean, the Punjabi villain movement, and I think the Spurs movement. There's a few other teams that have got Wolves have got one. Like,
United got one.
Say again.
United got one.
I don't think so, man. I think
you're all in West Brom. You can get together and make one, aren't you?
Nah, we're not in West Brom, mate. we're all Lancashire. Well, technically, if you're Handsworth, you're Albion.
Yeah, but no, I was born in Aston, so there you go. Yeah.
Well, I'll let you off. Yeah. Anyway, I was going to go down a different road then, but I thought I'd better leave it. Yeah. So I mean, like, there is quite a lot of movement around that, and it is progressing forward. In I think there's a FA. I think there's a referee now, referee. So there's some movements around there now. So you could be brought in to bring in some anthems.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. One day. Yeah. No, I mean, look, I've had like I said to you, I've had a really nice career. Not done yet. I think I've got a couple of years left. So
yeah, hopefully not, man. Like you just said, you've just come back, and you can't be talking about like retiring again.
But it'll just be like what I want to make in it, just to enjoy it. That's the main thing. Like, if I'm enjoying my music, I know I can make some good music.
I'm going to put you on a last question from me. I'm going to put you on a really difficult position here. Do you see some of your work as being like do you think you get the credit that you should and deservedly get?
Probably not. But I've never let it bother me. It's my choice.
I knew you were going to say that.
Just, do you know what it is? If I go to a wedding or something and I hear my songs get played and people bouncing around and jump into them, I just sit there and I just laugh. Like, this is mad. Still today, 20 years later, I still get like a buzz. You see everyone singing the words, they're all dancing. And I had it in my head when I was making those songs. If I drop it here, this will happen, and it still happens today on the dance floor. It's wicked. I love that. That's enough for me. That's enough for me.
Jeeti, on that note, thank you very much, man. And then I will hold you to account here.
Yeah.
I will be bugging you, and I will get you back on when you're out, when your tracks are ready to come out.
100%. And I'll get Ravi on as well. You can sing you.
Yes, yes.
100%.
I need to do that. All right, bro. I really appreciate you taking time, man. Happy New Year. Wish you all well.
You too, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.